Do you know what water tastes like? Think about it for a second. It is such an everyday, mundane thing that we take it for granted. I'm not talking about the water you gulp down while swimming in the ocean or your neighbor's pool. I'm talking about the supposedly purest form available today, bottled drinking water. Bottled water has a very distinct taste, at least to me. I can easily tell the difference between bottled water and tap water, and even between different brands, much like a wine connoisseur can tell the difference between a bottle of Chablis. I can also tell when a bottle has been opened previously. There is something about the aroma or lack of aroma that makes the taste memorable. It's not some weird superpower, it's just a quirk that I've come to appreciate over the years and more lately. My friends and family don't know about it, and I've never even told my wife about it, and therein lies my story. Last year, my wife, started buying a little bottle of flavoring to add to her water bottle. It supposedly adds a twist to the ordinary. I don't really like it myself. In my opinion, it tastes like someone spit gum into the bottle and shook it up. Anyway, she talked me into trying it. I tried it and told her that I prefer to drink pure water. She didn't get the joke because she continued to sneak a flavored bottle every now and then. This substitution has been going on for a couple months now. I try to be polite, but when she doesn't see it, I change it to unflavored. It was at our annual summer barbecue for the whole neighborhood that something happened that I in no way expected. While I was managing 3 stoves and paying attention to nothing but steaks and burgers, Lauren walked by and shoved a bottle of water in my hand. When the party is at our house, I don't like to drink alcohol, so I've been pulling with a bottle of water all evening. Without thinking long, I took a sip and realized it was one of her flavored bottles. I didn't take a sip, but leaned over to check the propane tanks and spit it out where no one would see it. The reason I spit it out was not because of the blackberry flavor, but something else I didn't recognize. There was a faint metallic flavor to it, as well as notes of something that reminded me of sulfur. I didn't know what it was, but I certainly wasn't going to swallow it. I put the bottle between the propane tanks and got to work cooking. But then an alarm rang in my head for some unknown reason. As nonchalantly as possible, I looked around at those gathered in the backyard, smiled, and continued serving the food. Everyone was either deep in conversation, face-feeding, or splashing around in the pool, all except Lauren and Bob. They were sitting in a chaise lounge and watching me surreptitiously. What, I wondered, were they watching me for? They seemed to be having some kind of serious conversation, with occasional glances at me. How did Bob end up here? I don't remember inviting him. Bob is one of Lauren's co-workers who lives a few blocks away and has recently started showing up at events we've been to. I hadn't paid much attention to him until today. The alarm clock was still screaming. When all the steaks were served and the burgers were spread out on plates on the picnic table, I turned off the burners and closed the lids. Lauren was watching me, and I caught her eye and pointed to the kitchen door. I went inside and grabbed another bottle of water from my personal stash. Removing the cap, I noticed it had already been opened, and smelling it, I detected the same metallic taste and notes of sulfur. Maybe it's just a bad batch, I thought. I set it on the counter and turned to face my wife. "What's the matter, Chuck?" she asked with her cute, crooked smile. "Oh, nothing, just restocking. I think we got a bad batch of water. It tastes kind of weird." "Oh, I don't see how that could be. You probably just ate something and it leaves an aftertaste. What did you do with the one I gave you?" Thinking quickly so as not to get caught in the middle, I came up with a little white lie. "Oh, I finished that one. I just came in to get another one." She smiled and ran her fingers through my hair, looking me in the eyes the whole time. "Okay," she said, taking the bottle I had just set on the counter and holding it out to me. "Take this one and go outside to our guests. I'll clean up here for a bit." As I walked down the path to the pool, Bob got up and went inside. I noticed this because the damn alarm in my head was louder than ever, and whenever I looked in his direction, it went up an octave. Something damn weird was going on, but what? I made my way through the crowd of friends and walked to the side door that led to our bedroom. As I stepped inside, I heard voices coming from behind the door, either from the hallway or the bathroom. It was Lauren and Bob. As quietly as possible, I tiptoed to the door and listened. "I don't know," Bob said. The guy who gave me this remedy said it affects everyone differently. Some people feel the effects right away, and some take an hour or two. Just be patient." "I'm too damn horny to wait," Lauren growled. "I want you to take your pants off right now." "Damn it, Lauren, don't ruin a good thing. Once Charlie's out, we can have our own party. Just be patient. You're the one who wanted me to blow your brains out while he sleeps in the bed next to us. Why, I don't know, because he was nothing but a good husband to you." "Yes, he's been a good husband, but he's too vanilla, too predictable in bed. I want some excitement, some danger, without jeopardizing everything I've worked so hard to achieve. And you, sir, are just that kind of danger, and certainly not vanilla." "Yes, but I don't want to do anything either, Dot, and remind me never to get in your face. You have an evil mind." "Well then, if you want me to be patient, you'll have to kiss me so I can wait this out." There was silence, and then came a moan that I had heard many times before, usually at night. The sensations in my gut were like nothing I had ever experienced before. My insides were on fire, and my heart was pounding faster and faster. The images in my mind were like a poorly dubbed Asian movie, and years flashed before my eyes. Every moment since I'd first seen Lauren across the room in my European literature class replayed on the screen in my mind, and the same dialogue repeated in every scene. Lauren repeated over and over, "I want you to take your pants off right now." My head was ready to burst. "Will that hold you over until hubby falls asleep?" whispered Bob. "You bet it will, love," Lauren replied in a whisper. "Now get out of here before someone sees us together." I went out the side door again, but I didn't go back to the party, but walked around to the front of the house where everyone was parked. I needed to be alone and think about what I had just heard, so I sat down on the porch steps to reflect on my life. For some unknown reason, I was still holding the bottle of water I had gotten out of the refrigerator minutes before my life changed. When I realized what was happening and what was in the water, I threw it into the yard. I sat there the longest and no one bothered me. Memories of the past mixed with dread of the future as thought after thought ran through my head trying to make sense of recent events. I knew what was happening, now, but I needed to figure out what was coming next. I had put an end to the games that were being played at my expense, and I needed to do as much damage as possible to the guilty parties. One of them now, and maybe not for a very long time, is my wife. At that moment, I saw the water bottle I had thrown on the lawn. An idea arose. Then a smile appeared. It was time to get my ass up and do something. I picked up the water bottle and walked back to the party. With all the self-control I was capable of, I found Lauren and said, "I need to go get a beer. I'll be back in a few minutes." She put her hand on my shoulder. "Do you think you should drive?" I looked at her and replied, "I haven't drunk anything but water. I'll be right back." I turned around and left her standing still. As I closed the garage door, I caught a glimpse of Bob walking beside me. In the garage, I emptied half the water bottle, added a couple of extra ingredients, gave it a good shake, and put it in the cup holder on the center console. I needed to stop at the drugstore before heading to the liquor store. I remembered that Grandma always kept some ipecac syrup in the medicine cabinet and threatened us kids with it. I never dared to cross my grandmother because I knew what ipecac syrup was for. Right now, it was perfect for my situation. When I got to the liquor store parking lot, I filled my mouth with water from my bottle and swirled it around in my mouth. I spit it out onto the front seat without swallowing a drop. Then I took my new purchase, walked over to the dumpster next to the building, and drank half of the bottle. I tossed the rest into the trash can. My stomach was turning over as I walked on wobbly legs to the store. When I was halfway to the counter, the volcano Vesuvius erupted. Everything I had eaten in the last 24 hours spilled out onto the clean floor. I collapsed and curled up in a ball, shaking like a leaf. The vomiting continued as the clerk tried to walk around the puddles to see if I was alive or not. He quickly gave up and called 911 when groans sounded. One of our city's finest police officers arrived before the ambulance. I'm sure she thought she was to find another drunk who had fallen into a liquor store. But when she saw me and the convulsions my body was going through, she changed her perspective, or so it seemed to me as I lay there. "Sir! Sir! Can you hear me?" she shouted in my ear. Sir, what happened? Did you drink too much?" No, just a bottle of water. My wife gave it to me. In the car, I threw up in her direction. Luckily, she got out of the line of fire in time. I watched a policeman carry the water bottle out of my car as paramedics loaded me into an ambulance and took me to the hospital. At the hospital, I was given all sorts of blood tests, and what little was left in my stomach was pumped out. I lost consciousness after they put a tube down my throat and into my stomach. A while later, the same policeman, and what I guessed was a doctor, came into my room and woke me up. "Eh? Where am I?" "Mr. Barry, I'm Officer Park, and this is Dr. Wojciechowicz. Would you mind answering a few questions for us?" "Yeah, I guess so. But I'm a little dizzy. What's wrong?" "Sir, you passed out at ABC Liquors. Do you remember being there?" "Yeah, I went to get some more beer." "How much did you drink today?" "Nothing. When we have a neighborhood barbecue at my house, I don't drink. I have to drive some of the guests home at the end, so the only thing I drank was a couple bottles of water my wife gave me. That's it, honest." "Are you sure?" she asked with a questioning look. 100%. Oh, and only a couple bites of hamburger." "Okay, then I think we may have a problem. Let Dr. Wojciechowicz tell you the rest." The man in the white coat began. "Mr. Barry, the water bottle the officer took from your car contained a mixture of a sleeping pill called triazolam, a strychnine-based rodent poison that you can buy at almost any hardware store, and digitalis purpurea, or a common plant called foxglove. All three drugs were in high enough doses to cause you to have a seizure, and if you hadn't been brought here at that point, you probably would have died within minutes. We're going to have to keep you here for a few days to make sure you don't have any neurological or organ problems associated with taking that combination of toxins. You are now receiving intravenous fluids to flush out whatever is left. We'll be able to tell you more in a couple days, but for now, you just need rest. Let the nurse know if you feel anything strange, and I mean anything. And Mr. Barry, I have to say, you're a lucky man. It's lucky that your body rejected the toxins when it did, or we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. Frankly, you're lucky to be alive. In my opinion, the concoction of this mixture of poisons could not have been an accident. Someone had a very strong hold on you." The room became eerily quiet. Officer Park stepped out into the hallway to answer her cell phone. The doctor just patted my arm, smiled, and left. I turned away from the door and smiled again, but the smile turned into a frown when I thought of Lauren. When Officer Park returned, she looked concerned. "Mr. Barry, I just spoke with another officer who came to your house to talk to your wife. When he told her what happened to you, she ran out into the backyard and started screaming and yelling at one of your guests, Mr. Robert Michaels. As the officer told me, they both accused each other of putting something in your drinking water. A fight broke out between the two, and the officers had to break them up. There was a lot of yelling, screaming, and other accusations that I can't talk about right now, but after they calmed down a bit, they were both taken to the station. Your wife and Mr. Michaels will be questioned so we can find out how they were involved in your trouble. Depending on their testimony, charges may be filed. Whoever did this to you is in serious trouble. They're facing attempted murder charges. That's as serious as it gets. Now do what the doctor ordered, rest, and don't worry about a thing. I'll leave you my card, and if you have any questions or remember anything useful, you can call me anytime. Oh, and the water here is safe to drink, so I'm told. Good night, sir." I didn't have a good night, but they got better. Epilogue. Lauren and Bob got 3 to 5 years in state prison for second-degree assault. I asked the state's attorney to be lenient because I didn't want revenge. I wanted justice. They accepted a plea bargain when offered, or the state would have charged them with attempted second-degree murder. They'll probably be out on parole in 2 years, assuming good behavior. The guy who gave Bob the sleeping pills got 1 year for distribution of a controlled substance. He will have to walk around with an ankle bracelet for a year. After the sentencing, Bob's wife filed for divorce. Everyone at the party heard Lauren and Bob shouting accusations at each other about who put poison in my water and who is sleeping with whom. News of their affair spread quickly. I, too, had been divorced for a long time. The only time I ever spoke to Lauren was a 30-minute meeting after the verdict. She apologized about 1,000 times. All I asked her was what she meant by a little excitement, a little danger. I haven't seen her since. I haven't talked to Bob. I'm waiting for him to get out of jail so I can have a heart-to-heart talk with him. Or should I say a baseball bat to the balls? Now, every time I drink water, there's a bad taste in my mouth.